Sorry for that delay.
Welcome to our community call, Hungry Fitness. We're so excited talking about fiber today. I feel like this is the macronutrient that gets forgotten about. It is very important for so many things, from making sure our bowel movements are normal, digestion is optimized, to keeping us satisfied and satiated throughout the day, to gut health. Like, just so much is impacted by optimizing our fiber intake, and it's the Goldilocks ingredient, right? Like, it's not like more isn't always better than less. It's kind of everyone needs to figure out what the perfect optimal amount is for them. And variety is everything. And Griffin's going to talk about that for us with us today. She has a ton of experience with optimizing gut and digestion. And so I'm super excited to learn from her. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them during, and I'll just turn it over to Coach Griffin.
All right. Hello, everybody. Yes. Okay. So the very nerdy but super important topic of fiber today. And starting sort of just from the overall health perspective, fiber is going to be important for a plethora of reasons. But just starting from the overall health perspective and really longevity, fiber impacts us in a lot of different ways, and interestingly leads to longevity. It's like highly correlated with longevity, and doesn't seem to there doesn't really seem to be an upper limit. Of course, as Michaela said, it is a little bit of a Goldilocks. They're like, in terms of digestion, you need to pay attention to water intake with fiber. But there really doesn't seem to be an upper limit. It's kind of like the more fiber, the better when it comes to
Yeah.
cardiovascular disease and longevity and just overall health markers, which is pretty fascinating. And when the dietary recommendation is 25 grams of fiber, that's a little bit arbitrary, and the standard American diet, most folks aren't even getting that 25 grams of fiber. Like, we have clients come in, at like 8 grams
Yeah.
of fiber, and we have to spend a lot of time working with them in terms of food choices to bring fiber up. So I'll just start here with some of the reasons why we want to increase our fiber intake. High fiber is associated with a reduced risk of various chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. Also, interestingly, certain types of cancer, such as colorectal cancer, which is like a pretty aggressive and scary one, and one that can be prevented with colonoscopies. Just the little, you know, ding, go get your colonoscopy, people. And obesity. So super important in terms of overall health. In terms of cholesterol, soluble fiber in particular has been shown to help lower LDL cholesterol, which is the cholesterol that we want to come down, HDL being the cholesterol that we want to come up. So it also helps with lowering blood pressure and inflammation, which is going to contribute to overall heart health. In regards to digestion, fiber plays a crucial role. This is kind of what most of us think of when it comes to fiber. Promoting regular bowel movements, so binding what you're eating and keeping it moving along, preventing constipation, reducing the risk of diverticulitis and hemorrhoids. High fiber foods are also often correlated with lower calorie foods, veggies, fruits. So from a weight management perspective, high fiber foods are going to be helpful, when you're helpful all the time, but particularly helpful when you're in a fat loss phase, for example. You can eat lots of volume and it's not going to be a high calorie contribution. Fiber slows the absorption of sugar, helping regulate blood sugar levels. So really helpful for folks with pre-diabetes, diabetes. Also helps with preventing, developing those issues. Gut health. Fiber serves as a prebiotic, so nourishing the beneficial bacteria in your gut. A healthy gut microbiome is associated with a whole host of aspects of overall health. And then really from the longevity perspective, sort of what I was talking about at the beginning, several studies have shown an association between higher fiber intake and increased longevity. One study in particular found that every 10-gram increase of fiber intake was associated with a 15% lower risk from dying of any cause, which is pretty wild.
Got that
So
and a higher omega-3 index, and you're
yeah,
like, sure.
yeah, you'll live forever.
Uh-huh.
You will never ever die.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that like it's something that's not talked about a ton, even like we all know macros, we all know protein and but fiber's not talked about a lot, and it can be really important for even when fat loss is your goal. It can be really, really important. So
Especially
yeah.
because it's going to keep you way more satisfied. And I want to make sure this doesn't get missed because I think the very first thing almost 90% of our clients do when we say we want to have a fiber goal and let's increase fiber, it's going to have all these benefits, is they just go and get a fiber supplement. And it's like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but let's just say, it's almost like saying, oh, we want you to get outside and get sunlight benefits, and you go inside and you turn on your fluorescent lights, and you're like, done. It's not going to help, and usually it hurts.
Yeah.
Some cases, a supplement might be beneficial, but usually supplements are one source of fiber, and so it can cause it's like too much of one thing, and it can cause like more indigestion, bloating, gas, all of these things. Where the benefit of increasing your fiber is getting that variety, because that's going to feed your gut microbiome. And that's where all the benefit lies, is in the variety. So the more you're eating, you're more likely to have more variety, but that comes from whole foods, not from supplements. And supplements, it's just one, maybe two sources. It's like really hitting a probiotic hard when maybe you don't need that strain of probiotic. Like eating probiotic rich foods is going to be way more beneficial for you to cover your bases. So just know, like, I don't think anyone, well, I would say anyone with, well, how would you phrase that, Griffin, as far as like who needs a supplement? I
I'd
would
say
say
it's like
most of our clients don't.
no, I would say it's pretty rare, far and few between. Like, so like maybe folks with irritable bowel syndrome. Like I have Crohn's disease. I know a lot of people with Crohn's disease struggle with fiber. So like in those instances where it just like you have more bathroom
You're
problems, you have
limited
more
too.
diarrhea, you have more like like you just can't with any cruciferous vegetables or any leafy green. So there are those folks where okay, maybe a fiber supplement is helpful for them in that very nuanced case. Generally speaking, if you don't have a particular medical condition where you struggle, I don't know, almost never would I encourage it.
Yeah.
I remember
So
that.
keep that in mind. And you might think you're not supplementing with fiber, and you're like, oh, this protein bar has 30 grams of fiber. This is amazing. This is going to get me, or this bagel, or like there's a lot of products where they're fiber, like they're enriched with, I'm trying to think what the most common strain that's always put, psyllium husk is
Yeah,
one
psyllium
that's
husk
really
is in a lot
popular.
of things. Yeah.
And so all this, you think you're hitting, in fact, I think we had a client that was like getting an astronomical amount of fiber in, and she's having all of this bloating and indigestion, and she's stopped up. And so pay attention. Your packaged foods, like your pseudo health foods, those are like is it the Olipop drinks? That have fiber
Yep.
in them, like
Yeah.
immediate gut ache for me, because
Yeah.
it's way too much fiber and not enough food. So just pay attention, look at labels and see, okay, obviously if it's coming from whole food, berries, avocado, whole grain breads, you're going to get a lot of fiber, and it's in a way that it's a variety, right? So, if it's just got a fiber supplement in the food, then pay attention to that, because maybe you're having some gut issues and it's just you're overdoing it on the supplements and you don't even know it.
Yeah, and all at once. And yeah, I mean, I think that variety is really important. Just like with micronutrients and vegetables, you get a lot of different micros and you get a lot of different things when you have a wide breadth of veggies and a wide breadth of just sort of sources of food. overall. And okay, so there's trade-offs, and
Convenient.
some of my clients are very like, I eat the same thing every day because I hit my numbers and it's easy. Like, yes, it's way easier to hit your numbers. It takes a lot of decision fatigue out of it. You can sort of wash and repeat your meals. And if you're not somebody who cares about eating the same thing day in and day out, like that's cool. It, if you can swap out the veggies here and there, if you're getting lots of veggie sources, it's probably fine, and that works for that moment in time. Um, the trade-off though being, we really want breadth of diversity with with all of our food sources, but veggies in particular. Um, so like eating seasonally is great, or at least being able to, like, if you have a formula, like I build my nightly bowl with this many veg, like this much veggies, this much protein, like whatever. If you
Mhm.
can change out those veggies for whatever seasonal, but keep the formula the same, that's a really good way to sort of still be able to wash and repeat all your meals to hit your numbers and not have to think about it too much. But like change out these greens for those greens, or like these toppings for those toppings, and it'll help a lot in terms of bringing new stuff into your system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can be just having one meal a day where you
Yes.
are just changing things out, while 2 to 3 meals keeps, we keep them the same. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
keeping it simple, but still changing it up. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I love that. That's kind of like one meal a day is kind of what I like to do to bring variety, because you
Yeah.
have favorites. And then
Me
probably
too.
once a month I change up those autopilot meals because I get sick of them. And so that
Yeah,
you're obviously kind of rotating variety in that way, but having one where it's like I'm always changing it up for that one. And I have the
yeah,
mental energy for that meal. And
for
that's okay.
sure.
So
And
yeah.
a lot of folks, that'll be dinner probably because you're
Yeah.
incorporating family and more
That's
people.
mine.
And
Dinner.
then
Mine
like
too.
breakfast and lunch, just wash and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for kind of practical ways to bring more fiber into your normal routine, first we can start with whole grains. So really doing good inventory of any of your starchy carb sources, reading the labels and making sure that they are with whole grains, checking to see how much fiber they have. Ezekiel bread is like a great toast that I go to. I think it's, if I remember offhand, 7 grams of fiber per slice of bread. If you're into Ezekiel bread, that works really well. Quinoa is fantastic. So even like if you're classically a white rice eater, not that white rice is bad, but every now and then you can change it up for quinoa, change it up for barley, bulgur, something that's going to bring a little more fiber to your plate. That can be really helpful. This is one of my favorites, actually. Nuts and seeds. I use this more as a topping. So I have sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds are my go-to favorites. I also have a whole, like, all the nuts, walnuts, pecans, almonds. So those are my go-to faves, and I put them on pretty much every meal I make as a topping. They go with sweet, they go with savory. You don't need to overdo it. Like, I just kind of sprinkle, but if you wanted to measure it out, you can do I would be like I think generally they say the serving size is a quarter cup. I don't even do that. I kind of do a sprinkle. So if you want to do like a tablespoon or a half tablespoon, probably a half tablespoon if you're doing most meals. And it depends on, your what you're doing for watching calories and fat and stuff, because this is going to be a fat source of fiber.
Yeah. Calorie
But
dense.
a great way for adding a little bit of fiber to every single meal, a little crunch, a little salt if you have them salted. And
I
like I
love
said, it goes with sweet and savory, which is cool. Like you put it on everything.
I love to do like Dave's thin sliced bread, so that has a good amount of fiber, and then I'll do like cottage cheese, eggs, and then some flaxseed or pumpkin seeds on top,
Yeah.
and that's super yummy.
Yeah, that little bit of crunch, just like
Mhm.
all about those toppings. So that's a nice way to do it. Fiber-rich fruits, of course. This is great for post-workout snack. You get those carbs, you get some fiber. So of course, raspberry, pear, apple, whatever you like.
Blackberries.
We're coming into like those being in season, and yeah.
Berry season for sure. And there's going to be certain fruits that are going to bear more fiber than others. Often skins will give like, things with skin on it will give you more fiber.
Berries are great for like the calories, the calorie to fiber ratio. So I love getting frozen berries, and I'll like add those to smoothies or my oatmeal or a creamy. I've been doing that lately, and it's super good.
You're
Raspberry with my
you gotta
vanilla
get those
creamy.
creamy
A
recipes.
creamy. What was?
I know you're in
Yeah,
Norway.
that's yeah. I'm like, I've asked this question before.
It's just protein and milk, like frozen and mixed up into like a
Yeah, that's so it
ice
kind
cream.
of,
But then I just have been adding frozen raspberries, and it's so good. So
Yummy.
yeah,
delish.
like a treat. It is a
Mhm.
treat, but you're getting protein and fiber. So that's
Yeah.
nice. Micronutrients.
And avocado is that sneaky fruit. That's actually, it's going to be a fat, not a carb. Tons and tons of fiber for
Yeah.
avocados. So those are also like, I kind of treat those as a topping on a lot of different meals. Quarter of an avocado, sort of dice it up and throw it on lots and lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Veggies, of course, we've talked a lot about those. Eat veggies at every meal. I think a lot of us probably recommend most of our clients shoot for at least 1 cup of veggies per meal. Great source of fiber, great source of micros, particularly if you're moving into a fat loss phase. More and more and more veggies, the better, because you can keep volume on your plate quite high. It's also going to be a lovely source of fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, in terms of sort of practical swaps or additions, beans and lentils are great sources of fiber. Again, you can do it topping style. So garbanzo beans or black beans or whatever kind of beans you like, you can throw on top of things. Hummus is going to be a great source. Swapping starchy carbs sometimes for lentils can be a really good contribution for increasing fiber content.
And you're getting protein. You said that,
And
but
protein. Yeah.
like, I love legumes because you're getting some protein and fiber, and just adding like good volume to your meals that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that is actually, and we have this lovely little, let's see, is this going to work for me? Are you guys going to see this or not?
Fiber guide. I don't know if you click on that. How about you, if you put that in the chat, like the link for it in the chat, then everyone can pull it up too.
Okay.
And we can send that out after. I'll send that out with the recording as well.
Okay. Yeah, so this fiber guide, it's a great little handy source. It'll break things down by vegetables and fruit and whole grains and fat sources, and it's even going to be highlighted like really nice in terms of like your eye, visually speaking, for your eyes to be able to catch things.
Griffin, is that the digestion guide?
It's the fiber guide. Allie actually, I think, made it for this.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's anywhere else.
I just posted the digestion guide.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a high fiber foods one, but I'll share if you have the link for it and want to share it to the chat. Because I don't know, maybe I'm doing high fiber foods list. I added that, and then I can find it on the email too.
Okay, and I can't
I can do it. I'll share it.
Oh, here we go. Oh, you got it?
Or if you have it right now, that's great.
Yes, I think I will be able to. Let's see. It's a PDF. Let's see if this works. You'll have to tell me if it.
Okay, yeah, if you can link it. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't share this one. I can share it. Were you able to?
I'm sending it now. Tell me if that, I don't know if that's gonna do it or not.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Thank you.
Does that look right?
Yep. So that's there. So I'll send these out too after the call for those that
That's
are
great.
post.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really neat in terms of like visually the darker the red ones, the more bang for your buck. Now it's a little bit misleading too, right? So watch the servings on there. Like I think the everything is done in half cup on here. So of course the nuts and seeds are like bright red. You're probably not putting a half cup of like sunflower seeds on something.
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh.
do look at the serving sizes
Serving
on
size.
those. But you'll see like avocado is pretty pink on there. Artichokes. Artichoke is one that surprised me in terms of amount you get.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
love
I love
artichokes.
artichokes. I wouldn't have even
Yeah.
thought that. And even getting like pickled artichokes are so easy to throw and mix with salads and stuff.
Totally. And like Michaela was saying, raspberries have good bang for their buck. 4 grams per half cup. Bulgur and whole wheat are great. And then again, all the nuts and seeds are very good bang for your buck, but you're probably not eating half a cup there. Chia seeds, flax seeds being the ones that really jump out. And then all your beans have great bang for your buck. So anything in that sort of legume category, navy beans, 9.6 grams per half cup.
I feel like
I don't know what are navy beans, by the way.
maybe they're like aren't they about like they kind of look navy? I don't ever.
Are they
I've never
kind of like
cooked with
black
navy
beans? I don't know.
Yeah. I was just thinking kind of a good rule of thumb is shooting to get like 400 grams of vegetables per day. And then I would say like topping with either avocado or nuts and seeds, like, as you can. And then adding in berries with breakfast and legumes with dinner. Like you would probably hit 40 grams of fiber that way. But those are just like kind of like rules of thumb that I've used. Like if I can add in some beans with dinner, or throw them even on a salad, like rinse them off and just like throw kidney beans on a salad. That's delicious. And then fruit with breakfast is easy to just add into most breakfasts, even if it's just berries, like raspberries on the side. And then having them as toppings, like avocado and nuts and seeds as toppings can really just add fiber to all of your dishes that way.
Yeah.
I'm not a bean person. Could you like roast beans? Or would that just be
roast?
I have before. I've roasted chickpeas before. It's been a long time. They were delicious.
Yeah, I have done chickpeas. I've roasted chickpeas and I've done a little sriracha on them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like in a salad, and that's really good too.
That's a good protein source as well. Like,
or if you like hummus, like if you like them like in that, some people don't like that texture. I love refried beans and hummus.
Refried beans are good.
I love refried beans, but my husband is like thinks that's so gross. Like anything like texture, he's like, but to each their own. Okay.
I'll do like a Mediterranean bean salad, which is like really good to like keep because I'll do like a little bit of olive oil and balsamic. So I'll do like red onion.
That's great for summer to throw with
kidney
some
beans, garbanzo beans. You can add cucumber later if you don't want it to get soft, and same with tomato. And so you could do that as like a snack. It has gonna have some protein with the beans, or I've done it too where I just make a big batch of it and then I'll add like chicken to it for more of like a meal. It's actually better the longer it sits because it sits in like the.
That sounds great. Jess, if you have time and want to just like send out that base recipe on the group that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll make it up.
I love that. I know it's like a throw together one, but if you like kind of have it.
Yeah,
but that's a great side for the summer, like for any meal and anything.
Yeah.
And my kids will like scarf it down. They love it.
So versatile. Yeah. Cool.
And water intake. I'd say the other thing you just want to remember with fiber is water.
Especially soluble fiber.
Water recommendation, we say 100 ounces to most folks is a great. I mean, do you guys differ in terms of fiber intake? Do you say anything different for recommendations on water?
I think you need to make sure you're drinking water or you are going to be feeling very bloated. Because soluble fiber that's the type of fiber that dissolves in water to form like a gel-like material, and that's what helps lower your blood cholesterol and your glucose levels. And so you need water. And then same thing with insoluble fiber, right? That stays intact. So it does not change through your digestive tract. So you need water to help that push food through.
And that's it. You need both types of fiber. And a lot of things do have both types of fiber in it, but you want to make sure that you're getting both that soluble fiber source and the insoluble fiber source. One is binding and then one is doing a better job of moving things along, and water is necessary to move things along.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking also just adding, not maybe going like increasing with enormous amounts, because that could actually, have
Yeah.
your digestion be a little bit worse
Yeah.
before it becomes better, because
Do
it's
for like an
hard to
extra
digest.
10,
Yeah.
10 grams a week
So, like,
probably is good.
slow process. Yeah.
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 Just
And
like
so,
protein.
and just like understanding
Yeah.
your bowel movements, right? And your digestion, soluble fiber, it binds with water, and that's going to bulk up your stool. So if you have like diarrhea or you're